What's up, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. You know, I was gonna sit here and write some plucky intro about how the Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders went down, but we have an absolutely stacked episode for you today, and wasting any more time sounds woefully irresponsible. So why don't we skip the formalities and get to why you're here in the first place? To hear about all the co-op games that came out last month, what co-op games are coming out in the next months, and any co-op news in between, it's the Co-op Monthly for April. Let's get started.
You might have seen April as a break from big titles, and while that's partly true, you'd be missing out on a whole lot of indies making major noise. Let's dive into all the co-op games that dropped in April. The first title of the month was Sephira, an early access release. It's a top-down roguelite where you play as a bunny living in a village atop a tower, fighting to protect its home. Seems wholesome enough to me. It's already racked up over 1,000 Steam user reviews, sitting at a 91% very positive rating, so don't sleep on its simple-looking gameplay. This one could be cooking. Of course, we're mentioning it here because of its 4-player online co-op capabilities. If fast-paced pixel art action is your thing, definitely keep an eye on Sephira as it works its way towards a 1.0 launch. As we go through the review roundup, it's going to become obvious how packed this month was for both Gabe and I, so picking which indies to cover was not easy, but I think we made some smart choices, starting with Monaco 2. It's an isometric heist game where you and up to 4 friends choose characters, sneak through intricately designed levels, and hopefully make it out alive with the goods. We had a good time with it. Check out our review if you want to hear more, and if for some reason you don't trust our opinions, Monaco 2 also pulled a strong 76 on OpenCritic, which feels like the perfect score for what we experienced. Forever Skies finally got its 1.0 release and a PS5 port on the 14th. So how did it fare? Reviews covering the 1.0 launch put it somewhere between the 7 to 8 range, and user reviews seem to agree. The general vibe is that if you're into survival crafting games, this is going to be a solid pick, but it might not go down as an all-time classic. Gabe and I have played our fair share of these titles over the years, and our love for them is starting to wear a little bit thin. That said, you're going to notice a pretty big emphasis on survival crafting games throughout this episode of the monthly. Forever Skies looks like a good option, but it's hard to say if it's the option. Case in point, RuneScape Dragonwilds enters the survival crafting space with this in-universe spinoff of the beloved IP. It was revealed just at the end of last month and then shadow dropped into early access on the 15th. Same as before, it's gotten a positive reception, but it hasn't exactly blown the doors off of anyone. It's obviously going to be a little bit light on content for now, but by all accounts, it's very playable, sitting at an 85% very positive rating from almost 15,000 Steam players. So yeah, that's definitely playable. That said, for my money, Enshrouded looks pretty similar, and it's a lot farther along in its journey. We'll be sure to keep updates rolling on the monthly as they come, and if Dragonwilds rolls into 1.0 with some real pop like it already has, we might just check it out then. One really small title that didn't see a lot of pop this month was Vinebound Tangled Together. It's only got 24 Steam user reviews as of writing, but hey, all 24 are positive. The loop looks like what you get if you turn Vampire Survivors into a chained together action roguelite, where you and your partner are connected by a vine that can't stretch too far or pull too close. I'm definitely wanting to play this one, even if it's not making huge waves yet, and hey, if you want to check it out too, there's a demo available and the full game's only $5. You tell me if this sounds familiar. Chart a course in a breathtaking but fractured world. Explore ancient ruins, master advanced technology, and craft your very own skyship to brave nature's fury and colossal threats in Lost Skies, no, not Forever Skies, the game we just covered a few minutes ago. Lost Skies has a decidedly brighter art style, but it's still another survival crafting game you can play with your friends, though for now it's just in early access. It's sitting at a mostly positive on Steam with around 70% approval after over 1,000 ratings. There's a big emphasis on mobility and grappling, which looks cool, but like I said earlier, we're still waiting for a survival crafting title that's really gonna knock our socks off right away, so for now, Lost Skies probably isn't gonna be that. Cybercorp is a co-op looter shooter that takes a different approach to the genre, and when I say different, I just mean isometric. The idea of a smaller scale looter shooter actually does sound refreshing, especially considering the kind of commitment it takes to dive into Destiny or The Division in 2025. If you've ever had any interest in the genre, this one does support online co-op with friends. It's got a couple hundred Steam user reviews sitting at a positive rating, always a good sign, and it's also a 1.0 release, so no need to wait around for content. Overall, I kind of feel like I'm here just talking to myself and getting myself convinced I need to play this game. So if I talk you into it, you can tell me, and then you can kind of re-talk me into it, and then we'll be stuck in that loop for the rest of the time, which sounds kind of neat. Dinkum is what you get if you take Animal Crossing, drop it in the Australian outback, and throw in a classic survival gameplay loop. Of all these survival crafting games I've covered so far, and no, we're still not done this month, this one sounds the most interesting to me. And I'm clearly not alone. Dinkum has racked up over 20,000 Steam user reviews with a very positive rating. It's got all the usual survival crafting fare, planting crops, raising animals, battling wombats. Did I mention it was set in Australia? So yeah, shout out to the cozy boys and gals out there. I think you might have a good one in Dinkum. One of the best parts of doing the monthly is stumbling across a game neither of us has heard of, but immediately I know it's gonna be for my boy Gabe and he's gonna love it. That's definitely the case with Darkwater, a cooperative extraction horror game that just entered early access. You command a submarine trapped under the ice of an alien planet, and you'll need to do anything and everything to survive. There's some really interesting onboard submarine systems too, like using sonar to take out ships, and while it doesn't have PvP, that's never gonna be a deal breaker here at the Co-op Bros. It's still early with around 200 Steam reviews, but they're coming in very positive. Definitely one we're adding to our wish list for when it hits 1.0. If covering Monaco 2 at the beginning of the month was the right call, then playing Sunderfolk for the rest of April was a home run. Not just because you all really supported the review video, thank you by the way, but because it turned out to be a fantastic co-op tabletop style experience with the whole crew in tow. I say tabletop, but as you probably know, it's actually played on the TV, with everyone using their phones to control their characters and take part in the game. Sunderfolk has some excellent co-op mechanics that make for strategic, satisfying battles, and the systems around class and town upgrades are solid too. It's held back a bit by a forgettable plot, but if this style of game interests you, we definitely think it's worth a shot. And it's not just us, it's sitting at an 84 on OpenCritic and a 94% very positive rating on Steam after a couple hundred reviews. I wouldn't be surprised if this one makes our top 10 co-op games at the end of the year. The final survival crafting game I'll mention in this review roundup is Oppidum, and don't worry, there's plenty more survival crafting coming in later sections of the monthly. This one looks fairly boilerplate for the genre, but with a bright cartoon fantasy aesthetic. Unfortunately, it launched in full on the 23rd to only a handful of Steam user reviews, and it's currently sitting at a mixed rating. In a genre that's already packed to the brim, as we've so clearly shown here, we're not sure Oppidum has the juice to stand out. Still, we wanted to mention it here, just in case it flew under your radar like it did for us. Now here's a genre that almost never makes it onto a co-op centric channel: dating sims. In Monster Prom 4 MonsterCon, you and up to 4 friends can work together or potentially compete to win the hearts of 6 sexy monsters. It looks absolutely ridiculous. It's taken me like 4 tries to get through the script and not laugh in the middle of it, and that's all in the best way possible, with an art style that mashes up Saturday morning cartoons, anime, and comic books into one chaotic, colorful package. I love the idea of playing this with my guy, talking through our dates, helping each other out, and hopefully not both ending up gunning for the sexy clown, because let's be honest, who isn't going for that sexy clown? With over 600 reviews and an overwhelmingly positive 98% rating on Steam, this one just rocketed to the top of our 2025 backlog. Could it be a real contender for the top 10 co-op games by the end of the year? I would absolutely love it if it was. The final game we'll cover for April is Bokura Planet, the follow-up to the cult hit Bokura. In this title, you and a friend play through a puzzle adventure that might not be as cooperative as it seems. The game is purposefully vague about each player's true objective, and I'll leave it at that in case you decide to jump in. Probably best experience without any spoilers. It's currently sitting at a 75% mostly positive on Steam after a couple hundred user reviews, so if you've got the right friend and want something a little bit different, this might be worth a playthrough.
May doesn't have half the amount of games released in April, but this is still a solid group to look forward to, so let's take a look at what we have coming up next month. First up is Revenge of the Savage Planet, a 2-player action-adventure game with a whole lot of satire supporting both local and online co-op. This is the sequel to Journey to the Savage Planet, but this game makes a change from first-person to a third-person POV. In it, you'll solve puzzles, traverse 4 vibrant worlds, and fight or capture dangerous creatures. We've been looking forward to this one, and if you have too, then keep an eye out for its May 8th release date, coming to all consoles bar the Switch. Another highly anticipated title for us is Sedap, a culinary adventure. This is kind of an Overcooked-like game, but throws some combat into the mix as one of you battles creatures while foraging for ingredients. It's been delayed a couple times, but it's slated to come out in May, and we doubt it's delayed again. Sedap is coming to Steam and supports 2-player co-op with both online and local modes. They also teased a console release date recently, so be sure to add this to your wishlist to keep up with any news on the title. If you're looking for some cozy open world vibes, then Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time might be for you. This is an RPG light with a variety of different gameplay mechanics like crafting, dungeon crawling, and cooking. It supports 4-player online co-op and is coming to all consoles on May 21st. Lynked Banner of the Spark is a colorful roguelite with town building mechanics, and is finally launching its 1.0 update on May 22nd. We actually got to play the early access launch of this and really enjoyed our time with it. It features 3 to 6 player online co-op with 3 players able to go on missions together, while 6 can hang out in the hub town. On top of the 1.0 launch, the game is also coming to PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. This is definitely one worth checking out. It has great combat, and its roguelite meets Animal Crossing gameplay loop is very compelling, so be sure to add this to your wishlist too. The game I'm personally looking forward to the most next month is Elden Ring Nightreign. Nightreign is an Elden Ring roguelike spin-off that puts you in the shoes of different characters and throws you into an alternate version of the Lands Between. When they first announced this game, I'm gonna be honest, I really wasn't sold on it, but after getting my hands on it via the open beta, I've completely changed my mind. The game supports 3-player online co-op, and while most From Software games support co-op, Nightreign is the first to really make it the foundation of the whole experience. We can't wait to dive into this on May 30th when it comes to all consoles bar the Switch.
And with the Wii Shop music playing, you know what time it is. Time to talk about our Patreon. Did you know the entire Co-op Bros channel is run by just 2 guys with full-time jobs and surprisingly robust social lives? Of course you do. I mention it a lot these days because it's true and it is definitely not easy. If you want to support us in keeping the channel going, Patreon is a great way to do exactly that. We've got 2 low price tiers and some really solid exclusive content, including a series called Play and Banter, where we share our way too early thoughts while we actually play the game, which I'll be honest is harder than it sounds. If you've already joined or decide to hop in, a big thank you from both Gabe and me. It really does mean a lot, but for now, let's get back to the show.
We got a whole lot of news to cover, so let's jump right into it with all the updates on released co-op titles. The AAA initiative returned for its 2nd year, giving us updates and announcements of stellar indie titles. As such, we got the reveal of Enshrouded's next chapter, the Thralls of Twilight update. This update features improvements to the nighttime cycle, new enemies to face off against, and new weapons to craft, among other tweaks and balancing fixes. Enshrouded continues to become a really feature-rich survival game, and we can't wait to see it get the big 1.0 update in the future. Blaze Blue Entropy Effect is a stylish 2D roguelite inspired by Dead Cells, and wouldn't you know, their latest update is adding a new character from Dead Cells. Pretty cool. But what we're really here to shout out is that the game is also getting a local co-op mode in addition to its 2-player online mode. No release date for either update yet, so be sure to add this to your wishlist to stay up to date. Vampire Survivors also made an appearance at the AAA Showcase, unveiling their next crossover, this time a crossover with Saga. There's another update they showed off that I originally thought was titled the Co-op Update, but I was wrong, and I'll just let the video explain the rest.
Finally, after years of waiting, Vampire Survivors can finally announce Co-op. Wait, didn't we... The coop? Are we doing that?
Yup, in this update you get to fight chickens, a whole lot of them, and I guess you can become one yourself. This game is insane, so let's just move on. From one vampire game to another, V-Rising has released their latest update to the game with the Invaders of Oakvale expansion. As you can guess, this welcomes you to a new forest biome called Oakvale featuring a new deadly boss and dark magic to be seized. There's a bunch of new features like custom battle arenas, new weapons, and an overhaul to combat too. This really makes me want to get back into V-Rising, so let me know in the comments if you're playing the new update and how it is so far. Necess is a procedural Minecraft-like title that's been in early access since 2019. The game recently launched its Forgotten Depths update, which completes the Plains biome, reworks the economy, among a slew of other updates. Lots of games are getting updates and reworks in this episode, but I gotta say, few are as ambitious as Lords of the Fallen's 2.0 update. This massive overhaul brings with it a ton of quality of life improvements, like a revamped UI, an improved character creator, refined movement, and much more. What really impressed us though is how the team reworked the game to support full share progression in co-op. On top of that, they've introduced a free Friends Pass, letting you invite any friend to play across any platform, even if they don't own the game, similar to Split Fiction's own system. Credit where it's due, Lords of the Fallen might now be the most accessible Souls-like on the market, especially on consoles. We played it at launch and had a decent time with it, but ultimately moved on. After more than 50 updates and this major overhaul, it might feel like a completely different game. Definitely worth checking it out if you're a Souls-like fan. Ship of Fools recently got a new free update and a paid character DLC. The update, titled Alfie's Project, introduces Alfie and Pelly, which let you use extra items and resources to rebuild structures around the Great Lighthouse Hub. As you rebuild, different NPCs will reward you with new items added to your roguelike pool. We love seeing this game continue to receive updates long after launch. This is one of our favorite co-op roguelikes, so this is a perfect excuse to check it out if you haven't already. Wartales got a brand new update with the Beast Hunt DLC. This new update has you facing off against towering beasts in the new Briga region. To even the odds, you'll be able to unlock the new Huntsman profession and recruit some new fierce animal units as well. This is another game with a wealth of free and paid updates that make it a really compelling title to dive into with some friends, so long as you have plenty of time to spare. Second to Lords of the Fallen, Hyperlight Breaker's Buried Below update is a huge overhaul to the early access roguelite. The new update adds a brand new character class as well as a new boss. The biggest change though comes in the reworking of the entire run structure. It's now a more traditional roguelite run where you have one life and lose it all on death. Before, you had multiple lives and a durability system that let you keep your items, but honestly it was kind of a mess. This is super encouraging because I really thought they had something with this game, but the surrounding systems weren't quite right. They've teased an even bigger content drop coming this summer, which has me really excited to dive back into this game. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 recently got some brand new content with the Trigon update. This update adds a new operation where you face off against this ugly beast that, you guessed it, is a Trigon. The update also adds the new Inferno pistol, prestige ranks, and a slew of general fixes. Disney Illusion Island has been a Switch exclusive since 2023, but it's now making the jump to other platforms and is coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC on May 30th. This new version, dubbed Disney Illusion Island starring Mickey and Friends, adds some new content like permanent upgrades you can unlock with the help of Scrooge McDuck. This is a really accessible Metroidvania that we've continued to recommend, so if you were hoping it would come to your platform of choice, here's your chance to check it out. Another port announcement with Towerborn finally releasing on Xbox. The game is still in early access, but the port brings with it numerous improvements. Exclusive to Xbox consoles, you can now play 4-player local co-op, which is huge. The game is also receiving some reworks to class skills, the world map, and the main questline. Additionally, this marks the final time the game will wipe your progress, so even though you have to start new, all your progress will carry over to the 1.0 launch in the future. My old friend, The Division 2. Remember that game? Good times, simpler times. Anyways, the game is getting a new major DLC with the Battle for Brooklyn update launching on May 27th. This update tasks players with defending the Dumbo and Brooklyn Heights neighborhoods from the threat of cleaners and Rikers. You know, I'm really hoping my favorite pizza joint is in this game. I guess if it isn't, I can look forward to a brand new campaign, new skills, loot, and various other improvements. And lastly, we have some news on Windblown with its recent Sanctuary update. This update introduces a brand new biome to the game alongside a new boss, new trinkets, weapons, and quality of life improvements. We really enjoyed our time with Windblown, so here's hoping we get a 1.0 release date soon.
The III initiative could have easily been called the co-op initiative with how many games fit the bill, so let's keep it moving because there's still a ton of co-op news on upcoming games to cover. We got a closed alpha gameplay trailer for Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core, the spin-off of the beloved co-op mining game that turns it into, drumroll please, a roguelite. This one looks a lot more action-focused than the core Deep Rock experience with unique classes and abilities to tailor each run. I know some folks are feeling a bit fatigued by roguelikes taking over the scene, but hey, a Deep Rock spin-off is never a bad thing, so let's just celebrate what we've got here. As of writing, you can still sign up for the closed alpha, so head over to Steam if you want to get in on that. Sorry to say, but you've already missed it. During the III initiative, we got another trailer for Tears of Metal, and they also announced an open beta playtest. It's closed now, which is a bummer, but don't worry. Your boys hopped in and made a whole video so you can hear our thoughts. TLDR, this is Dynasty Warriors with a Scottish Highlands twist. It delivers on the action and roguelike elements you'd expect. It's not super cooperative just yet, but keep in mind this was just a small slice. We're eagerly anticipating more, and we know you are too. Escape Simulator 2 is the sequel to the popular Escape Simulator, which, as you can guess, are simulations of escape room experiences. The sequel got both a trailer and a demo during the III initiative, where you can try out the tutorial and the first room of the Dracula's Castle level. With both of us recently coming off of blueprints and being pretty nifty little puzzle solvers ourselves, I think Gabe and I are definitely down for this one. It looks gorgeous, but what really sold me is the drop-in, drop-out co-op with up to 8 friends. There's no release date yet, so if you're a puzzle poppy like us, toss it on your wish list for now. Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era just got a release window for Q2 2025, which, by the way, is exactly where we're sitting on the calendar as I speak. This one's a return to the beloved series known for its high-quality turn-based strategy, and it's bringing quite a bit to the table. A single-player campaign, both competitive and cooperative multiplayer modes, and even a build-your-own-campaign mode. That's a lot of game, but the visuals look sharp, and surprisingly, Ubisoft is on board as the publisher. A bit unexpected, sure, but whatever it takes to get your game out in 2025. To close out the III initiative, in this section, we got yet another gameplay trailer for the off-road simulator Over the Hill. This one gave us a clearer idea of the gameplay loop. You and your crew roll up to trails with assigned difficulty levels, and the challenge becomes all about conquering them together. Still looks gorgeous, gives off those cozy, laid-back vibes a lot of us love in our co-op sessions. Definitely a different take on the formula, but we're very interested in trying it out. No release date yet, so add it to your wishlist to keep it on your radar. Den of Wolves got its first round of previews this month, and yes, it did hurt our feelings not to be included. The co-op bros, IGN, and Kinda Funny are on the same level as far as I'm concerned, but it's fine, we'll wait for our shot. The good news is the previews are sounding really positive. The team clearly knows what they're doing in the heist genre, and it shows. I'm especially intrigued by these segments where you actually enter the mind of your victims. Think kind of like Inception, and then you navigate their psyches in gravity-defying platforming sequences. That is a wild and exciting way to push the genre forward. But the basics sound well covered too, with tight gunplay and cool abilities like pop-up shields and futuristic drones. Still no release date, so be sure to wishlist it, or just subscribe here so we can keep you updated as it rolls out. Bungie's next big title was finally shown off in full this month, and Marathon is an absolute looker. I know some folks are actually down on the art direction, and to those people I say, please go see your local optometrist. There might be something seriously wrong. Okay, I kid, I know it's all subjective. At the end of the day, the game is actually an extraction shooter in the vein of Escape from Tarkov or Hunt Showdown, sitting somewhere between PvE and PvP. So yes, we're being a little cheeky by including it on our co-op focused channel, but if you know us, us, throughout the years we love to dabble in the occasional competitive experience. We actually got hands-on time with Marathon ourselves, expect Gabe to write up a detailed preview soon, and like a lot of folks, we're walking away with mixed feelings. But I don't want to go into too many details, I want to save it for my boy because he's got all of that lined up and ready to go. In the meantime, we'll just wait for that September 23rd release date. Undermine 2 got an early access release date of July 22nd with a demo coming to Steam Next Fest from June 9th to the 16th. This one's a gorgeous pixel art action roguelike where you dig deeper and deeper, uncovering ancient secrets and battling increasingly tough enemies along the way. The character designs are fantastic. I mean, seriously, this game, I feel like it's all about that art style. We're both super eager to play it, so if the devs are listening, feel free to hook us up with some early access so we can give the good people of the Co-op Bros community the preview they deserve. FBC Firebreak got a new trailer, a developer deep dive, and a release date, June 17th, which that's kind of shaping up to be an alarmingly packed month. We're both really excited for this one though. Everything we've seen and everything the devs have shared is hitting all the right notes. For more on that though, check out our hands-off preview. Overall, I would just say it's looking like a must-play for the boys. Parallel Experiment is a 2-player co-op puzzle game that gives off serious escape room vibes, with each player exploring different sides of the mystery and needing to actually talk things out to solve it. Yes, voice chat is mandatory, and yes, you're both going to need to own it. It's kind of like a split fiction situation where you're going to see different parts of the game. You play as a comic book style detective Allie and Old Dog in a noir thriller where the cryptic killer flips the script and makes you part of his twisted game. Love that setup. Sounds very silly. Really want to play as Old Dog personally. It's cross-platform, it's got style, and even though its release was delayed, that actually helped us discover it, and now we're both eyeing its new June 5th launch. And last up from me is La Chimera, which got hit with a true last-second delay, like reviewers had already dropped their takes before the devs pulled the plug. In the end, that sounds like it was the right move, because the early feedback made it clear that this one needed more time in the oven, and when you're a new studio putting out your first game, you really only get one shot to make a strong impression. For those who haven't heard of it, La Chimera is a co-op first-person shooter campaign, which is surprisingly rare these days, and we were excited to squad up for it, but now it's delayed indefinitely until the team feels like they've nailed it, and we're hoping they take the time to get it right.
Finally, we've come to our last segment of the show, new game announcements, so let's get to it. We got 2 game announcements out of the III showcase, the first being Speedrunners 2 King of Speed. This is a sequel to the original competitive platforming title, but where the first game featured 4-player co-op, the sequel supports up to 8 players via both online and local modes. This is a favorite among some of our friends, but I never play it because I'm pretty bad at it, and I especially never play it if our friend Jake is in the room. Dude is straight up nasty in this game. Last announcement from the III showcase was Akuma the Frozen Compass. This is an adventure game that tells the story of Sam, a teenage boy who finds himself stranded in the Arctic with his dog. The game will feature local co-op as you explore unfamiliar terrain and was sure to be an emotional journey. It's slated to release sometime next year, so be sure to add it to your wishlist to stay up to date with the title. Only got a couple more announcements left, so we'll try to knock these off quickly. Hunger is an upcoming PvPvE extraction game coming from the team behind Hell Let Loose. It takes place in a plague-ravaged European setting and features some pretty impressive graphics. I'm always down to try an extraction game, so count me in. No release date as of yet. This next one sounds really cool. Hell Express is an isometric shooter featuring 4-player online co-op. You play as a delivery crew operating between the living world and limbo, which sounds suspiciously similar to Death Stranding. A co-op Death Stranding? Say less, I'm in. No release date as of yet, so yet again, add this to your wish list. Are you looking for yet another survival crafting game to play? One with fishing, base building, and a glider? Then Into a Harsh Yonder might be for you. This one also lacks a release date, so add it to your wishlist to keep up with the title. Mycopunk is an upcoming mission-based co-op shooter published by Devolver Digital, so you know it's got the sauce. Playing as a robot, Mobius-inspired art direction, and a quirky sense of humor are all I need to be extremely interested in this game. It looks to feature 4-player online co-op and is slated to come to early access on Steam sometime this year. Finally, why don't we end where we began, with the Nintendo Switch 2. You might have heard that one of the new features for Nintendo's upcoming system is how the Joy-Cons double as a mouse. Well, one team is ready to put that to the test with Mousework, a 4-player party game where you compete in minigames utilizing the new Joy-Con mouse controls. No release date for this one, but the devs have said, and I quote, "It will release hot on the tail of the Nintendo Switch 2. There's a mouse tail pun in there, I think. Not sure. Close us out, bro.
Alright guys, that's gonna do it for this monthly. Hope you enjoyed hanging out, maybe found a few games to add to your backlog, or more realistically, your wish list, and had some laughs along the way. If you did, do us a solid, hit that like button, consider subscribing for more co-op content, or if you're feeling extra generous, check out our Patreon for some exclusive behind the scenes content. Either way, we seriously appreciate you sticking with us till the very end. We'll catch you next time on the Co-op Bros.